Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fun List Friday here on the Eat Sleep List YouTube channel. My name is Matt Johnson, your host, and today we're going to get in touch with our creative sides. All right, get the juices flowing and show off a little imagination. We are creating theme parks. Trust me, it'll make sense. Let's make a list. As I mentioned on Monday's episode for the accountability list, thank you if you happen to watch that. If not, no big deal. I appreciate you being here with me today. I wanted to tap into our creative side and do a different kind of topic, at least for the video format. I've done this in audio format before, but for the video side of things, I think it'd be a fun little exercise, so to speak. Creativity is really something that's important to me, and there's been times where I've felt very creative, and there's a lot of times where I got nothing. I got nothing going on up there, and I feel like it's important to maintain creativity. All right, to keep in touch with that side of ourselves, because it's easy to lose it. It is easy to lose it. We are all born with just this endless concept of imagination and creativity. I remember being very, very young, and my imagination was wild. All right, the things that I thought I could be, right? Playing make-believe, right? Playing make-believe, pretending we're something, or a superhero, or whatever it was. When I was in kindergarten, there was a kid that said he wanted to be a VR trooper when he grew up, and looking back, I'm like, that's freaking cool. How awesome was that as a kindergartner to have that kind of imagination and creativity? Creativity has always been something important to me, and like I said, there's been times I've lost it. Going through life, we become hardened, and I don't know, just life just kind of can beat you down. I go to work every day, and there's with a lot of miserable people who you could just tell don't have a drop of creativity in their system. They can't think for themselves. They can't do anything without being told how to do it. And I don't know. It feels like I'm around people who are just trapped in a Groundhog Day lifestyle, just doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I'm not like that. I've never been like that. Creativity has been something very, very important to me for years, dating back to my early childhood, pretending that I was a Power Ranger or Batman or Spider-Man or an X-Men, into playtime, playing with my toys, having these wild and crazy imaginative adventures, all right, these giant epic toy wars that I've talked about plenty of times, or writing stories about myself in fictional worlds, going on fictional adventures. My photography, my podcasting tenure. My whole life I've showed glimmers and glimpses of the creative side. And I try to tap into that as much as I can because it makes me feel good. When I feel a rush of creativity, I look to capitalize on it. And that's why I love doing this show so much, is because I get to show off my creative side. How much effort I put into every single video that I do, writing it out, recording it, and now using the power of ChatGPT, imagining these fun thumbnails that, it's a little different than me taking a picture myself and these various other, with objects and whatnot. But I'm showing my creativity off every chance that I get. And I really want to hone in on this one. Because theme parks are fun. Making up theme parks is a fun concept. I did it years ago in the original Emerge studio with Mr. Moranto, or Moranto as we just like to call him, who runs this wonderful building, and my good friend Dan Torres. And it was just fun to just talk and have good ideas and even try to make each other laugh, because creativity is just awesome. It's really cool to just think and imagine and daydream a little bit. It's okay. I don't care what anybody says. It is okay to be creative. In theme parks, you can do anything with it. Theme parks, you can do absolutely anything you want with it. All right, when it comes to imagining a theme park, like, what do you love? All right, this is something to be taken away from it. What do you love? What are 10 entertainment things or 10 things that you love that you think would be fun to imagine or design a theme park around? I have 10, and I can't wait to talk about them. All right, there's a lot there. They're well thought out, and I'm very, very excited to discuss them. But it's a great way to exercise the mind. All right, imagine things. Imagine how this theme park would lay out, would look like. Imagine yourself attending this thing. And I think it's just really, really good for the mind. Lessons from the list. Give yourself an opportunity to be creative. Not just with theme park ideas, but with your everyday life. Find ways to have a creative outlet with your podcasts, with music that you create, with playing video games. Just find a way to be creative every single day, just a little bit. Just a little bit. It builds up inside of me where I have to just let it out in some way, shape, or form. For this list specifically, the theme parks list, don't take it too seriously. It could turn into something good if you want to pursue theme park building, I guess, but it's not to be taken seriously. Have fun with it. Don't put limitations on your creativity, and don't put limitations on your imagination. When you're making a list about creating theme parks, or you're just imagining what a cool theme park would be, and it's not necessarily a real thing that's going to happen, but if you are putting limitations on your imagination, imagine what you are doing to yourself, in the real world, right? Imagine how much you are holding yourself back from achieving certain things when you don't even let your imagination run wild, and you limit how creative you let yourself get. It sounds goofy, but it's true. How many times have we wanted a job and we said, no, we can never do that. And we just stayed where we were. All right, stayed in place. Didn't grow as people. Didn't take a chance in making a better life for ourselves, or finding a job again that we love, that we want, instead of one that we just have, and it just makes us miserable. A lot of people put limitations on what they can do in the real world. I am one of those people who have done that in the past. And again, accountability, like we talked about on Monday, I still do to this day, and I own that. I do. Practice. Don't put limitations. Let your imagination run wild. All right? Because the world has grown through creativity, through imagination. Progress is made through these things. All right? You think some of the cool inventions that we've had over the years, they just happened? No. There are people letting their imagination run wild and free. All right? The iPhone. As much as I hate how much this thing, my life revolves around it, how much every day I have to be on this thing for some reason. It was genius. It was a forward-thinking idea of incorporating the internet, the phone, music, apps, games, and all sorts of things, and just putting it into one thing. All right? Again, referencing Amazon again, like I did in the accountability list. A genius idea that took imagination. Various medicines and other medical advances, science advances, took imagination to lead to. All right? And some of the stuff that we have now is wild. AI, wild. Again, you think rocket ships, like going into space, wild. All right. The people that did those things were creative, had imagination, and did not put limitations on what they thought they could achieve. And that is why those people are successful. So who knows? Who knows? Letting your creative side run wild could lead to a $1 million idea, or it could just lead to nothing, nowhere. But it's good to have. It's good to maintain that. It's good to exercise that ability of creativity and inspiration. I'm just going to say those phrases a lot today because I cannot stress enough how important it is to have those two qualities. All right, everybody. So I've been pondering these for the last couple of weeks because this idea, this concept is I've just been infatuated with it. So when you're making this list, first and foremost, feel free to share it in the comments. I always encourage that, and there is not a single bad coaster idea. I will not frown upon any, not just coaster, excuse me, but there's not a single bad theme park idea. I'm not going to frown upon it. If it means something to you, great. Like that's what this is all about. That's what this is all about. Have fun with it. Do not put limitations. Do not worry about licensing or financials or anything of the sorts. Just have fun. Let your mind and imagination and creativity run free. Here it is, the top 10 theme parks that I would create in my mind, and if I could. My number 10, I'm going to go with a Mortal Kombat theme park. I love this property a lot. All right, there's a lot of fun to be had. It's one that's near and dear to my heart, and I'm actually like, for next Friday's episode, like I was fighting the urge to pick it as a topic, but I'm going to wait a little bit because it's been an exciting time for Mortal Kombat. But I imagine this thing as like a a cool little island set up. It's set up like around the first Mortal Kombat island, and there's a lot to kind of see and do. There's cool ships. You got people walking around in ninja costumes and all sorts of cool costumes. But just a lot of fun theme stuff. I have a couple like ride ideas, but there's I have the Shang Tsung Island Fortress ride, which for those who don't know, Shang Tsung is the big bad and one of the big bads in Mortal Kombat. But how cool would it be to travel to, through a ride taking place within the Mortal Kombat universe, right? Especially the first game, which is probably the most important one. You go through in the courtyard and in the palace, in the pit, right? How cool would it be to have like a part where you're on the bridge of the pit and through some means you feel like you're dropping down into the pit with all the spikes are at. Scorpion, the most important character in Mortal Kombat, or at least maybe not most important, but most popular. Having a indoor roller coaster that's themed, it's kind of like themed around the Netherrealm, right? He's the pits of hell, essentially. And there's all sorts of lava-esque stuff around, and you're just riding around on this coaster that's going fast, crazy, and it just has a ton of cool things to look at. All right? Cool to me. The Outworld Invasion coaster, and this is something that I would do. I like indoor coasters a lot, and I think this would be another fun one, but how cool would like the Outworld Invasion? What I'm referring to is in the third game, where Outworld is coming to Earthrealm, and you're riding through as Earthrealm is kind of turning into chaos, right? You're getting invaded by these extermination squads, and you can see all the different villainous Mortal Kombat characters, and you kind of just see everybody throughout it, but it becomes like this chaotic roller coaster. I think it'd be so much fun, and there's a lot more you could do with it, of course. But this is kind of my vision, and this is stuff that can happen. Like, this is stuff that I can definitely picture myself riding, and that's good enough for this list. All right, number 10, the Mortal Kombat theme park. Number 9, I'm going to go a Marvel Universe theme park as well. I obviously Universal Islands of Adventure has a Marvel Universe type deal. Disney has incorporated it, so I wanted to do one as well because Marvel is something that's super important to me. Uh, there's a lot you could do. You can have comic book cafes and shops, and I mean, there's a lot of different nuanced stuff. You can have different. I think some of the food items that you can think of are cool. Like, who wouldn't try a Hulk burger or a Juggernaut burger or something along those lines? That Infinity Gauntlet ice cream place from the Thor area. Like, I think that'd be hilarious. I think that'd be hilarious to have something of that magnitude. There's a lot you could do with Marvel because there's a lot of properties that haven't been touched yet in rides. Like, that's something I waited because I didn't want to just be like, oh, the Spider-Man ride when Islands of Adventure has it. And yes, it means I'm putting a little bit of limitation on what I do with this park, but I also wanted to think of other things that could be done. All right. I think, again, another indoor coaster would be the Infinity Gauntlet coaster. And how I imagine this thing kind of going about is like you come up, like you have the 6 Infinity Stones: soul, mind, space, power, time, and reality. I think that's it. And you have like a model of them kind of throughout this roller coaster. And every time you get near them, the roller coaster does different things. So for like reality, all right, you're by the reality stone. And the track starts getting a little wavy, all right? It starts going all over the place, starts shaking a little bit and distorting reality. Time. The coaster slows down and then picks up and then slows down. Space, you could do some kind of illusion where you're going from one point to another. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff that you could do with this coaster, I truly feel. So that'd be one of the attractions. Obviously, Doctor Doom is the hot topic right now. He's the big bad in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Have a cool steel roller coaster and just call it a Doom coaster. Why the heck not, right? Why the heck not? Just go all in on this. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. No, it could be. Spice it up. A Doom coaster, you would think there's a lot to it, but yeah, Doom coaster. And then I had, because there's not really much X-Men stuff out there, do a Danger Room theme ride with all the X-Men in the X-Mansion. Like, how cool would it be to have the X-Mansion, like, as the outer, like, thing, and you're waiting out in the line in the sun or whatever elements are going on in the X-Mansion. You're going into the X-Mansion, and that's where the ride is. I just think that could be a cool concept, cool visual thing to see and enjoy. So the Marvel Universe theme park, that would be my number 9. Number 8. I'm going to go with a Resident Evil theme park. All right, Resident Evil, another game franchise that is near and dear to my heart. And I've seen elements of this. And Universal Studios, they do their Halloween stuff. I've seen that. Like, I've seen them do a Resident Evil themed like walkthrough. There's zombies and there's police cars and there's some of the various monsters within the Resident Evil lore at this place. There's a Resident Evil or a Biohazard cafe in Japan. Like, that stuff's awesome to me, and I think you could do a whole theme park using this. I got a couple cool ideas. All right, I think they're pretty cool, so we'll see if you think they're cool. The one I wanted to do is a Escape from Raccoon City ride, and my mentality with it is, does anybody watch it? Like, I'm asking this like you're right in front of me, but has anybody ever ridden the Buzz Lightyear ride at Disney World, Magic Kingdom, or the Men in Black ride at Universal Studios? Kind of like that, where you are going through Raccoon City or a Zion City, but you have like the option, the ability to shoot targets in a very dark, creepy environment, where there's zombies, where there's lickers, hunters, and of course, like some of the bigger foes, like a nemesis or a tyrant. And there's just like it's very, the atmosphere is just super dark throughout it. Just very dark ambience. And you're going through the streets of Raccoon City. Maybe you travel through a couple locations just to kind of show that off. But I think it'd be kind of cool. Make it like a scoring competition thing. I love the Umbrella Chronicles and Darkside Chronicles games for the Wii. Kind of make it like that. That was a scoring thing. That was a scoring deal. Make it like that. I think it'd be awesome. I think it'd be scary. I think it'd be crazy. It's an interactive riding experience. I love a good escape room. And while it's kind of weird to have escape rooms at a theme park, I think if you had some Resident Evil 1 mansion escape rooms, I think that'd be cool. All right, you got to move this thing and that thing and unlock this key and attach this and examine that. I think there's a lot of creative ways to do that. And you have, I don't know, 10, 12 different mansion-themed rooms or Resident Evil-themed escape rooms. I think that'd be pretty cool. My last one, I'm going to tap into like the newer Resident Evil. Well, not newer, but like the not zombie stuff. So the Del Lago lake monster from Resident Evil 4, when you're riding the boat, the little boat, and you have the harpoons and the rope gets attached to the lake monster, and I think it'd be kind of cool to have that like a Jaws ride a little bit. It's just kind of going through, and you got to escape and yada yada yada. I've told my story about I haven't told it on the video version, but I had a fun Jaws experience my first ride through. So I think having that, incorporating that, would be a nice way to tie in everything or most things. Resident Evil, obviously, there's so much more you can do, from food to shows to a bunch of other things. So Resident Evil is my number 8 theme park idea. Number 7, WWE, a pro wrestling themed theme park. I think it would be pretty cool. We had a little bit of a thing, Niagara Falls, Canada. I think they called it WWE Canada. But there was a store that they had just over the border on Clifton Hill, and it sold WWE merchandise. They had appearances and so much more. But they also had a ride. I forgot what it was called, but they had a ride over there. It was the only ride. It was attached to the building, and go and ride it. It was pretty sweet. But I think WWE is a popular enough brand where maybe you could get away with doing something like this. All right, it comes and goes in waves. All right, that's as far as popularity goes. But there is a legendary list of athletes, of professional wrestlers that you can incorporate into different themes. You could do shows there if you really wanted to, like a grand opening WWE show. And again, the list of rides, shops, other things. I imagine, even though I don't necessarily love these rides, but the rides that you kind of sit, it goes up and drops you and up and down. I would call that like the Stunner. Like I would call it the Stone Cold Stunner ride, where you get a little bit of whiplash, right? You're going up and up and up, and then just boom, it just drops. Like Tower of Terror in a sense, but just kind of wide open for everybody to see. Undertaker is one of the best, like, well-known vets of the pro wrestling of WWE in their history. Get a Tombstone roller coaster, right? Black and purple color design, and have a huge like drop. All right, you go up, you go up, you go up, you go up, and then a steep, like, just straight drop down. I think that would be, it'd be gut wrenching. It would definitely make you feel something when you're going down this roller coaster. And then I would just say, just do like different match type ones. You could do a Hell in a Cell coaster, a Iron Man coaster, something like that. But just a lot of coasters based on some of the biggest names and events. The SummerSlam coaster, the WrestleMania, it's just stuff like that. So WWE theme park, that would be my number 7. Number 6, I Proud American stuff. I've done the 4th of July episodes. Why not an America Land? Why not? Why the heck not? I got quite a few ideas for it. Different attractions based on different famous people, presidents, some of the most influential Americans of all time. I definitely had an idea because I seen years ago that there's a place somewhere down south where there's just a bunch of abandoned statues, like busts of presidents, just sitting in a field. And I think that'd be kind of cool to set up like a presidential park, just for kind of people to walk through, or a American Heroes Park, something along those lines. I had a idea for like just a long roller, just to make it one of the longest coasters of all time. The Manifest Destiny coaster. It's got a cool name to it, but just figure a way to make it the longest park. Have it go around the whole damn thing, no matter how big the park is. Maybe an American history ride. All right, kind of like I envision it, kind of like a Splash Mountain, something like that. Just kind of going through. I always get excited when on TikTok sometimes I get these videos where they show like New York City as it's growing through the years, right? Dating back to like the 1600s or whenever it was founded, and showing the progress of how the buildings are changing, how the architecture is changing, and maybe do something like that. I think that'd be cool. And the last suggestion I have a couple different like presidential rides in mind, but this one was too good. Everybody needs a good water ride, so I created the Taft Tub Raft ride. All right, for those hot days, you're riding in a bathtub. Of course, everybody knows the story of William Howard Taft getting stuck in a bathtub, even though I think it's an urban legend, but do the tub ride. Just sit in a bathtub and go on a little bit of a water ride. I think it'd be kind of fun. I think it'd be kind of a fun idea just to kind of play on that mythos. So that's my number 6 is America Land. Number 5, the NFL. The NFL. I think the National Football League is big enough to have a theme park. Maybe put it in Canton, Ohio, around the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But I actually got the idea for this. I was watching some old YouTube stuff, and the Michael Vick Experience commercial that came out years ago. And obviously, we all know his history. I'm not here to talk about that, but the idea and concept of a Michael Vick Experience ride seemed pretty cool. I think there's a way to. I mean, you could use somebody else like a Steve Young, Fran Tarkenton, or even Lamar Jackson's paving a great future. He's a good dude, no problems as of now. You could do the Lamar Jackson experience, the L8 experience, and kind of have that. Figure out a way to utilize it. But my whole concept of a theme park, an NFL themed park, was born from that idea. You can do a Hail Mary coaster. All right, starting off low, and you have this you get launched like this trajectory, not like a 90-degree angle. I don't know my angles. I don't know my shapes, but like just a Hail Mary coaster where you're going 70-something yards out at an angle, and you got to come down too. I think that would be cool. And then my other idea was like a Pick 6 coaster where you're you're going through the ride, and all of a sudden it stops and it goes backwards. It's not a new unique theme, but all you got to do is throw a name on a cool concept. You go forward a bunch of ways, and you got to ride the coaster the whole way you came backwards, and that is the ride, the Pick 6 coaster. So that's my number 5. Number 5, the NFL theme park. Number 4, Tolkien Land. Tolkien, J.R.R. Tolkien. Like a Lord of the Rings Hobbit themed park. I think that would be outstanding. The food. Can you imagine some of the food? Watching like the way that the hobbits and the dwarves ate throughout some of the films. But there was a couple things that I thought of with this one. I love in the second Hobbit movie, I think it's the Desolation. Yeah, it's Desolation of Smaug. When they're escaping Mirkwood and they all hop in the barrels and they go down that river ride, and they're getting chased by the orcs and stuff. I don't know. I love water rides. I'm a water person. I think it'd be pretty cool to do that. Incorporate Mount Doom, of course, the final destination of the Lord of the Rings adventure, just to do a Mount Doom coaster. Maybe you're working up and you go inside the volcano and there's a bunch of stuff on the inside. I don't know. I think they'd be pretty sweet, though. You do it an indoor or outdoor kind of. Do a half seat, inside and outside roller coaster. And then a Rivendell River Adventure. Rivendell is the most beautiful place. Like if I did a fictional places list, which we may do someday, Rivendell would definitely be like the place that I want to go see. Because I love water, and Rivendell is just done and created so beautifully. Like Peter Jackson's vision of what Rivendell is wonderful. So Rivendell River Adventure, and that would really complete Tolkien Land. There's a lot of other stuff you can do. There's plenty of other stuff you could do, obviously, but those are some of the things that I had in mind. My next three, I feel like are pretty reasonable as far as they would make. Like there's a legit shot that I think they can make it. I looked at the success of Nintendo World or Super Mario Land, however they label it. And there was another character in the 90s that was uber popular and rivaled the success of Mario. The character's name is Sonic the Hedgehog, and I think a Sonic the Hedgehog theme park would be incredible. Think about just the concept is just high-speed roller coasters. How fast can they go within, obviously, safety regulations, but how fast can we get these things to go? There's a lot you could do. Obviously, Sonic, a big chili dog person, all right, or chili dog character. That's his favorite thing. Got to have a chili dog restaurant there. Present, ready to go for those who are craving a chili dog. I'm picturing like people walking around with foam Sonic head hats throughout this theme park. I think there's a lot of that can go on. But the coasters, man, the coasters are where it's at. Got to have Green Hill Zone, right? The most famous level, I think, that represents Sonic the Hedgehog. Usually every opening game or opening level in a Sonic game has some form of Green Hill Zone or something inspired by it. Do it. Do the checkered hills. Do the loops and have different cool features like a bridge where there's fish kind of jumping up. Even though you're not really interacting with these things, you see them. Have the TVs pop up and these little bounces, like little up and down hills that you can do. Really give people the full vibe of being Sonic the Hedgehog within these roller coasters. I think that would be very cool. The other most famous level, and obviously you could do different ones. There's plenty of them, but the Casino Zone, I think there'd be some cool stuff there that you can do. Maybe not like a traditional coaster, but maybe like like one of those 2 or 3 or 4 seater kind of rides where you're kind of bouncing. Make it an indoor one, make it dark, and really all you can see is the lighting effects from the various the flippers and so much more. A lot you could do with Sonic the Hedgehog. It is a beloved property, and especially with the success of the recent films, Sonic the Hedgehog is definitely one that I could see being an actual theme park. Number 2, I'm going to go Pokemon. There might be something in Japan. I don't know for certain. There might be something there. But there's, again, a lot you can do with it. The first thing that always comes to mind for me is, I loved Pokemon Snap, playing Pokemon Snap back in the day, and taking pictures of the various taking pictures of the various Pokemon in their natural environments. And I think with how great animatronics are nowadays, that you could do a Pokemon safari. Set up animatronics in different environments and have something different. Like every time you ride, something different. You see something different. You go through a little water area and you see water Pokemon kind of thriving and maybe if you're lucky, maybe if you wait or if you happen to go on at a different time, you see different ones. It should be fun. Like I'm picturing going through a desert area and there's all the rock type Pokemon, like the Golems and the Geodudes and Onix and Machokes and stuff like that. I envision that. A fun Pokemon safari ride. The Gotta Catch 'Em All coaster, much like what I talked about with the Resident Evil Escape from Raccoon City thing, but taking inspiration from the Buzz Lightyear ride and Men in Black, but you got to see how many Pokemon you can catch. Maybe you have a little Pokeball thing with a laser and you point it. You try to Pokemon are popping out of different areas, and you try to catch them. It'd be cool to have a score tally about how many Pokemon you caught by the end of the ride. I don't know. Be some fun stuff. And then the last one, again, big underwater person. I was infatuated with the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea ride because I never got to ride it in Disney World. It was always there. You could see the tracks and stuff. But, man, an underwater ride with animatronic water-type Pokemon swimming around you, that's right up my alley. And that's all that matters when it comes to making this theme park idea make sense. So that's my number 2 is the Pokemon theme park. And number 1, Star Wars. I don't care about the Disney Galaxy thing. I want my own theme park of Star Wars. And I think there's a lot to do with it. It's so vast between all the different movies, the cartoons, the novels. There's a lot of lore you can work with. And I'm really, really excited about this one. So obviously you got to have a coaster. And I would do a Death Star Trench Run coaster based on the final scenes of A New Hope. Legit set up. You don't have to set up a whole Death Star, but set up an area where you're actually like going down the trench run, getting ready to blow up the Death Star. Would be so cool. Battlefront laser tag is another thing that I had in mind. You can have some giant buildings. You can create some really cool atmospheres like a Hoth or a Geonosis. Like do one per trilogy. Or even just think of the most popular fields, right? It could get a little wild, but that's where you have the referees in there to make sure that everything's good. But man, how cool would it be to play laser tag in a Star Wars themed environment? I'm here for it. And pod racing, right? Pod racing, I think it was the coolest thing of the prequel trilogy that they never explored ever again. They did it in some novels and stuff, but pod racing. Do a pod racing themed coaster. All right, where you and maybe one or other person are in a pod racing shaped kind of coaster. You just go. It's another speed based coaster that we're trying to see how fast we can go. All sorts of twists and turns, amongst plenty of other things. So there it is, everybody. The creative theme park list. I hope your creative juices were going. I had a lot of fun doing it. I hope you enjoy some of the images that I posted. Thank you again, ChatGPT, for your love and support there. But yeah, that's the creative theme park list. Don't be afraid to share yours. There's a long list of theme parks that can make, or just entertainment properties that can make really good theme parks. Let your creative side and imagination run wild. All right. Have a great weekend. Love and appreciate you all. Till next time, do you even list?